Hey, this is Jason with 4W Knives. I have a project today that's going to be kind of like a part two or part 1.5, something to that effect. These two lovely stacks are some trampoline springs and some ball bearings. I just did a video on it. I'll put that link in the description. If I can figure it out, I'll put a little link up on the top, but I doubt I'm that smart. But I said in that video, I was going to take the leftover deal and make another blade to see the difference in the pattern. So I'm going to do a gomai, you could call it, I guess. So we're going to have outside layers of the springs and ball bearings. I'm going to add in some nickel shims because I like it. This is a leftover piece of regular Damascus. And then we'll go the shims, and then we will go the springs and ball bearings. So that is going to be the stack. It's about 4 inches long and around an inch thick. So I'm hoping to get enough of a billet that I can make a couple of knives out of it. You will see the one. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so we got the forge all lit, warmed up, ready to go. Trick to getting a good forge weld is to reach temperatures around that 2000 degrees and then apply pressure. I use my log splitter press to do so. You can use a hammer, you can use power hammer, whatever you got. I'm lucky enough that I've got this press that does a pretty good job. It's not as good as one that you would buy from a maker, but it does the trick, and I'm thankful that I've got it. The only concern I had leading into the forge welding of this gomai was the thickness of my core. I usually like to work with a thicker core to show more of it once the final knife is shaped. But this Damascus is what I had, and it just wasn't as thick as what I normally like to do. It turns out okay, but you'll see in the final result, it just doesn't show as much as I would have liked. So the roller mill gets it down to its final dimensions. Once I do that, I take the angle grinder and remove all the forge scale. After I get the forge scale removed, I put the design on the billet and I do stock removal. I like doing stock removal on all of my sanmais and gomai just to make sure that the edge stays centered, and it's just a quicker and effective way of doing it. I'll take it to the belt grinder where I'll get the final shape prior to the surface grinding. All right, so you probably could tell I did things a little different than what I normally do. I normally do my rough grind on my bevels pre-heat treat, but with the first knife that I did out of this billet, it warped pretty good and it was kind of tough to fix. So I thought I would just be emptive and do all of that post heat treat. So I will show, I got this little thing. I think we got it at Staples and I love it. It's pretty good. One little pass. I've done the dye. I don't like the dye. It's messy to work with. The regular black magic marker just doesn't seem to get it dark enough for me. This dude here, the Magnum, does a pretty good trick. So as I said, if you've seen my other videos, you know what I do next. So I'll just take this little gadget that I got from Jantz, and I will find my center line. Just like so. I don't know how well you can see it, but I've got a line that I know to keep my line centered. Since I am doing all of my bevel grinding post heat treat, I have to be real careful on not overheating the blade. If I do so, it will ruin the heat treat and temper. So you see me go off camera quite a bit with the blade, and that is me dipping it in water. I will do this after every pass just to make sure that the blade stays cool. I fill the blade with my fingers as I'm doing this, just as a precautionary method to make sure it doesn't overheat. I feel really good about it. I think it went well. I'd really rather do all of this stuff prior to the heat treat though. Something that I do not show necessarily on this is I go through a progression of belts. I started with a 36, went to an 80, a 120, and then finished with some Trizac belts. I did all of this prior to the hand sanding, which I show a brief clip of that. Just like the other knife, I hand sand it to an 800 grit, and then I follow it up with cleaning it off with some brake clean prior to me putting it in the gator piss for 3 cycles at sitting for 20 minutes at a time. All right, here is the finished product. I guess not finished because it doesn't have a handle on it. I'll do that eventually. But thought it turned out really good. You can see the Damascus pattern as the core really didn't get a chance to show as much as I would have liked, but I thought it came out pretty decent just the same. Kind of compare, contrast a little bit. This is the original blade. It's the other one. I think I really like how this has the bigger, more distorted versions compared to these long oval ones. But other than that, they look very similar. You can tell they came out of the same batch, so the extra forging didn't change it a whole bunch, just changed it enough. So I'll get some glamour shots of the one I just finished up. I'd be curious for you to let me know which you like better. So anyways, appreciate it. As always, I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like my work. and I'll be doing another one, and hopefully I get better. Thanks again.